Hello, once again, and welcome to another short episode of the Ocean of Observations with me, Dr. Amit Punjabi, the founder and CEO of Sankalp Academy and the author of Pursuit, The Journey of an Entrepreneur. I'm extremely excited of recording this episode today because today we complete 1 year of the Ocean of Observations. That's really exciting for us. Uh, I mean, when we started, we weren't really clear about how many episodes we are going to be recording, for how long we are going to do this show. But thanks to the feedbacks, the the testimonies, the take backs that you spoke about, that we've received emails about, that has kept this show going. So make sure you keep them coming, and thank you once again for making sure we achieve this milestone of completing 1 year of running this show, the Ocean of Observation. So as I said, I'm really excited. I'm so happy that it has become what it has become. We started as a Facebook live show, and now we recently had a YouTube channel. I've just started a YouTube channel. So just the way you helped us make a Facebook live show successful, I hope you make the channel successful as well. So make sure to click on that subscribe button. Make sure to turn on the notifications for you to keep yourself updated with the show and the upcoming episodes. So, yay, we completed 1 year. And as for today, today we're going to be discussing a topic which could sound very simple to talk about, may not be very simple to execute, but it will become simple if you just really, put your mind to it and think about it a little seriously and take quick actions. So today's episode, whatever we discuss about in today's episode, requires really quick actions. So here's what. So let me tell you about how we, as we always start, I would love to give you the background of how we really came about this topic, how we decided to talk about this topic first of all. So over the last couple of weeks, we met quite a few people, and we start having this discussion. And thank God we had this discussion, because it kind of made me realize and made me take my observation deeper as well. So before we get into the topic, of course, my duty is to inform the first-time viewers about what the show is all about. This show, the Ocean of Observations, is where I, Amit Punjabi, share observations that have already brought in a lot of positive shifts in individuals as well as organizations. The observations are from different aspects and wings of psychology, physiology, semantics, and experiential learning. So that's what this show is about. Please do watch the previous episodes for you to have an understanding of what all we've been able to do, what all observations we've shared previously. And now let's get into the observation for this episode. So as I said, we started having a few conversations with a few people over the last couple of weeks. And we kept it ongoing just to understand where it's heading. Is it really working? We want to make sure, we are making observations that are actually not just valid, but are also transformational. So here's what happened. So we started discussing about the kind of people we meet, right, as we are growing in our growing years. So now when I'm talking about growing years, I'm not really talking just about our age, moving on from your teenage to your early 20s. I'm actually also talking about your growing years professionally, when you're joining a new firm, those years where you're really molding yourself, you're transforming into a better professional, maybe a better person, correct? So there are two kinds of people that we actually meet on a regular basis. So this is what you need to observe for yourself as well. Which kind of people are you meeting? So on a very basic level, talk with regards to the context that we are talking about today, there are two kinds of people, all right? So initially, my thought was about, I think this is only relevant for people who are really graduating, or maybe are still studying, are still involved in education, maybe even doing their masters or so. But it turned out, like I said, thank goodness that we decided to have discussions about this and kept this ongoing, because it turns out it wasn't really relevant only for the student crowd or the crowd that is still just studying. It also turned out to be a lot more relevant to people who are still finding their way in their careers, in their professional growth. They're still finding their way, and even they said, even we are affected by the same thing. So let me directly cut to it. Let me directly just jump into this topic. So like I said, there are two kinds of people that you will come across, two kind of people that you will meet, and both stimulate different things. So there is one kind of people who always talk to you about, did you hear that? Did you see that? Right? Uh, that's what they actually had. The context of the conversation is always about, dude, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Did you see what happened yesterday? Did you see what she did to him yesterday? Did you hear what they spoke about, the other evening when we went out? So that is one kind of crowd. And let me really tell you the observation of everybody who discussed this crowd, everybody who spoke about, okay, so what really is happening in this conversation? What is, where is it taking me? Is it doing anything for me in this conversation? So all of these conversations are always just about what's happening around people or around them today, for now, more about current affairs, right? And does it take them anywhere? Not necessarily, mostly not actually, right? So I will tell you, this conversation, of course, having this discussion and realizing what this does to you, having an observation on this has been really an important experience for me, because it really took me back, to the time when I had a year back. I had, as I've mentioned in a previous episode, I happened to flunk a subject in my 12th grade, and had to take a year off. But the good thing is I got the time to go back to workshops, go back to conferences, which had initially made a lot of difference to me, right? So I realized, in fact, I had been in the same place. I have actually seen both kinds of people, both these kinds of people that I'm addressing in this episode. So yes, I was around a lot of people who always just spoke about, did you hear, did you see, right? And just kept me involved in what's happening now, even if it didn't involve me actually, right? So it was the time when I was attending a workshop. uh, I was almost done with my year of break. I was, of course, I started doing a job to make sure I'm earning my own pocket money. I was attending a lot of conferences, but I'm talking about my year off from education, from traditional education, right? So it was almost about to come to an end, and I was at this workshop talking about, yeah, so I flunked 12th grade, and now I'm looking at going back to college. There was this still, I did communicate you know the discomfort of losing a year compared to my other friends, compared to the batchmates. So I did communicate the discomfort of being in that position. And this is a conversation in this one of the conversations in this workshop really changed my life. I happened to meet this person who made me look at things differently by just asking me a different question. So I had been around a lot of people who spoke about, did you hear this, did you see that? And then suddenly I was around a crowd who spoke about, did you know? Now that's a very different context. It stimulated very different thoughts. It made me look at things differently. It made me look ahead uh, into a particular direction that I wanted to really take. So there was this person who met me and who actually just started the sentence with, Amit, did you know everybody who's really successful today has been where you are today? And that really got me thinking. And like, I'm sorry, what do you? And he said, yeah, did you know everybody who's really successful has already been where you are today? And like, how so? And you so I did not know. Of course, I knew about the company Apple, but I did not know the story of Steve Jobs. From where I come from, we don't learn this in college. So we don't learn these stories in college. We don't get to hear these stories in college, at least the time when I was in college, right, pre-university. So I heard the story of Steve Jobs who dropped out of college. I heard about Bill Gates who also decided to quit college. So of course I heard about a lot of stories. In fact, within our own country as well, I got to know about stories of J.R.D. Tata. I got to know so many great stories about people who actually had seen certain amount of failures, and these guys are massively successful today. And it was those one of those workshops is what pushed me into actually getting into knowing them more, understanding what they did better, for me to start doing the same thing as well, or at least attempt to start doing the same things. So I was amazed at what I was learning, and it just started with a different sentence. I was suddenly meeting a new kind of crowd. This crowd was more interested, did you know? They're more interested in information. So that's why they always started their sentences. The context that they played by was always, did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know that this is possible? Did you know that this has already happened with someone before? Uh, while did you hear? So this is the observation that we've had in all the people that we've discussed this with. While did you hear? Did you see? Kind of just sucks them into a situation that may not even be relevant for them. Did you know? kind of pushed people to realize what they're actually capable of. They suddenly realize that they're capable of something better, bigger. They realize that they don't need to be where they are today simply because the sentence at the start was, "Did you know?" So, for the first time viewers, like I said, the show. So in the show, I share observations from different aspects of semantics as well. So semantics is more about language, and questions are also about how we use our language. So I know these are just words, but these words make massive impact, right? They create massive impact that can be hugely transformational, or they can be extremely destructive. So I was able to move on from my failure very quickly. I started achieving a lot of milestones, started achieving a lot of success because of the kind of people that I started meeting. So if I were to divide them into two groups, one group was always focused on, "Did you hear? Did you see?" And the other group was always focused on, "Did you know?" These are the guys who gave me relevant information for me to move ahead in life. Of course, none of us really want to be stuck. There is no point of talking about what is happening around us today. I mean, of course we have that crowd, we will always have that crowd, and it's okay to indulge in that. It is absolutely fine. Of course, we watch our news, we are updated with our social media, so we know what's happening around us. But it's important for us to also really focus on the different kind of crowd, the other kind of crowd, the ones that actually talk about, "Did you know?" That's the only way moving forward. Because yeah, I know what's happening right now, I heard this, I'm seeing this, but I want to know what could be better. I want to know what is possible. And you will know what is possible only when you're meeting the people who are talking about, "Did you know this? Did you know that?" These are the guys sharing relevant information with you. Right? So that's what this episode is all about. I wanted to really talk to you about these two different groups. The ones who talk about, "Did you hear?" They always live in the context of what's really happening now. They don't know where they're heading. And the more you indulge in "Did you hear? Did you see?" the more you will be away from what is possible. Correct? You will never know how far you can go. You will not know about what you're really capable of. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. The conversations, the transformation that we've observed, that we've discussed with the people in the last couple of weeks has been amazing, has been phenomenal. When the sound of it, of course, is so simple, but this needs quick action. It's easier said than done. So it's easy to talk about, yeah, I understand it's important for me to spend more time, meet more people who are the "did you know" kind of people, right? But then it's like I said, easier said than done. It's important for you to start observing the language of people that you're meeting. How often are you around people who actually get you involved in a conversation by saying, "Did you hear this? Did you see that?" Even at your workplace. So you walk into your workplace, you're maybe in the cafeteria for your break, and you're like, "Did you hear what the manager told him yesterday? Did you see the stats?" Now, these are the kind of people you are anyways going to spend time with. I absolutely understand that. But this is important for you to observe that how much time are you spending with people? How often are you around people like this? Correct? And find those people in your life who are the "did you know" kind of people. Right? So, that's what this episode is about. Thank you so much once again for helping us complete 1 year of this. I've been to different places in this last year. I've done episodes live and recorded episodes from different cities, different countries. I'm glad I'm doing this outdoor today as well. So once again, thank you for helping us complete 1 year, and do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to turn on the notification bar, turn on the notification on the YouTube channel for you to keep yourself updated with the episode. And so yeah, go ahead, start observing the kind of people that you're meeting, observe the language, and it's high time we start spending time with people who are the "did you know" kind of people, right? I'm sure it will change your life just the way it has changed mine and a lot of others. So thank you once again, and I'll see you soon in the next episode.